Alright, I'm using the dumbass arm thing. Yeah, shit is pretty stupid. I think we can all agree. Isn't shit stupid? What am I talking about specifically? Alright, here's what's going on, alright? I'm going to make a little video. I'm going to take you on a little tour of my apartment. Camera's moving around like crazy. Maybe this wasn't such a great idea to use this stupid stick. I'm going to take you on a little tour of this apartment. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm fucking touching my head like a motherfucker here. Cats love that blanket. Cats. One cat there. One cat there. Just cats all over the fucking place. You already knew that though. Cat down there. Yeah, the reason... Ooh, getting a little emotional here. Now, the reason that I'm making this video where I take you on a little tour of this apartment is because I'm going to move, man. I'm so unhappy here. And I never thought I would be. There are a lot of factors involved. And so I'm moving to Utah as soon as I have the opportunity to do so. Well, what's stopping you? Well, the thing is, you can't really pull a vehicle into the complex. No, if not, you cannot, period, pull a vehicle into this complex anymore. So that's just the state of things here. So I'm going to show you the apartment in 1 second. And I picked today. It doesn't always look the way it looks. I picked today because I cleaned. Well, I clean every Friday. But on here, let me show you on my list of things to do. That's right, I have a checklist. Let's see, you got clean, laundry, then farewell vid. My finger looks so fat right there. And farewell vid. That's me. That's how I do my discipline. That's how I get it done. Alright. Sorry. Alright. You know what happened? It's really, let's say 3 major things. 2 of them COVID related. Okay? One thing that happened, I'm here in Eagle Rock, Los Angeles. One thing that happened is COVID. Changed a few things. I had a project that was in the works that was really making my life so worthwhile, so magical, so exciting. I won't say what it is right now because there's probably going to be some sort of thing about it. But that got completely and utterly seized because of COVID. Meaning shoots are canceled, locations are closed. You already know the rhetoric on that. That project going on hold, that was quite something because I had a lot riding on it, so to speak. I had a lot financially riding on it. I had a lot emotionally riding on it. I invested so much time and effort and money, and blood, sweat, and tears. And it really just got circumvented by Aunt Rona. But again, I don't want to talk forever about that specific topic. The project's not dead forever or anything. The temporary shelving of it is enough to have upset something pretty deep in me. In fact, the only reason I was still staying out here in Los Angeles was because of this project. Okay? So, if that says anything to you. Another thing that happened is this apartment complex I live in, where I'm pretty fond of a lot about it, okay? And, it's got some cool views. I like Eagle Rock. It's a cool part of town. Look at my back window. Is that not pretty cool? Yeah, I sleep in the living room. We'll talk more on that in a moment, Bob. This is pretty cool, man. I'm used to living in New York, and you see... So yeah, if you're high up enough, you see some cool shit, but this was a nice place to be, man. And until it got bought. It was a nice place to be until the building got bought. So what happened when the building got bought? Which, by the way, I didn't think much about. Yes, I always find it really annoying when people are coming into your apartment. Okay, which usually in most places they have to put a 24-hour notice on your door saying, we're coming in your apartment tomorrow for X, Y, or Z reason. Heads up. If you're here, if you're not here, we're coming in. Which I gotta say, man, I understand why that is, but that's a fucking bullshit inconvenience policy. Why? What's the whole point of paying for a place if you can't even decide who comes in it or who doesn't? But again, I'm not trying to upheave the whole system here. I'm just making a point. So anyhow, that used to happen a fair amount, more in California in the 1.25 years that I lived here than ever in New York, because that I can remember, I've never once had somebody force their way into my apartment or put the 24-hour notice. It's like, you pay the rent, great, leave me the fuck alone, I'll leave you the fuck alone. Not so in Los Angeles, at least in this apartment, in my experience. So it started happening a lot, and it was like, it's such a pain in the ass for a couple of reasons. One is that I have 5 cats, and I've been lying on paper saying that I have 3. It's a common thing. It's not the best idea, because if you end up getting booted out, you could have you and your cats being homeless. That's an extreme situation, and I haven't had that problem here. I don't expect that I would, but it still was pretty nerve-wracking for me. And then it started being all these people coming through. There's people here all the time, groups of people, investors. Oh, so they're going to sell the building. So they sold the building. They sold it. That's when the changes really started, I have to say. At first it was, here's a little note, here's a little letter that just says, heads up, the building got bought by this company. Here's who you pay the rent to, here's the new property manager, right? Pretty basic, pretty simple, pretty who gives a fuck, like, thanks for telling me, doesn't mean anything to me. And then, gradually, things started changing. It was a notice, this is gonna happen in the apartment. You're gonna come in on this date to do the windows, which they still haven't done. You can see I got them taped up with Gorilla Tape. Not to say that they needed that, like every apartment needs that. They are shitty windows. I have that. Never mind, that's another story. But what started happening is all these, they have to come in for this thing, they have to come in for that thing. And then one fine day, I woke to the sound of demolition, okay, right next door. I knew those people had moved out, and the noise was simply maddening. And by the way, just to give you some perspective, of course they raised the rent as soon as they could when they took over the property. And the rent, just to give you some idea, $2,200 for a not shabby but not special 1-bedroom. Although I will say these large windows are pretty special. I've never really lived in a place that had those, and I do like them. So it is special in some regards. It's special in that I'm back in a courtyard. It's also special in that while I pay $2,200 for it, 1, 2, 3, the 3 people in this little building that I'm in, it's actually a huge building. This little part of the building that I'm in are paying $900, $1,000, $1,100. Okay, so I'm paying more than double there. And granted, they got here 10, 15 years ago. And that's the way it goes. If you constantly move, you go to new locations, you want to live in big cities, you're always going to be paying the highest rent. That's just the way it is, right? So anyhow, I'm not here to bitch about that, but that's just part of the reality of it. So they moved in, or the demolition started, and it was right over here, right? It was the room right next to this one. Oh, what room is this? The one with the speakers and the recording studio? Little baby, beanie baby. This is the one where I work in for a living, okay? Yeah, I know it's not a recording studio, it's a fucking bedroom. All the same. So the demolition starts, and it's fucking chaos, man. It's one thing, you've got a sawzall and you're making a cut. You got a circular saw and you're making a cut. Sledgehammering down walls, knocking things down. It's just fucking chaos, man. The actual, how loud it is completely chaotic. So that happened, and I just contacted the new property manager and said, what's going on? How long is it going to go on? Didn't learn much other than, just sorry. They're just, they're demolishing that apartment. And guess what came after the demolition? Months and months of putting in a new kitchen, putting in a new bathroom, putting in new flooring, putting in new drywall, doing all kinds of shit, man. Doing some electrical changes, some plumbing changes. The shit was so fucking loud. So of course, naturally, the first thing I said was, can you find out if they could give me a break on the rent? The answer was no. And I have to say, just that little duo, those two things coupled together, construction without telling you anything about it, not giving you any warning, and refusing to give you a little break on the rent, that's enough to where I just thought it was completely deplorable, reprehensible, and signified to me that these people who bought this building, here, let me just show their pictures. This is who they are. That they do not give a fuck about me, the renter, or anybody else here. Couldn't care less. No respect. Not even a basic human respect. Like, give me a little notice. Maybe I could have set up the studio in here. Maybe I could have fucking moved, anything. And what happened is, as they started doing these totally unreasonable things, filling the courtyard with blue smoke from a plate compactor, just fucking Sawzall, hammer drill, plate compactor, circular saw, fucking sledgehammer, just constant construction. And by the way, maybe even 7 people have moved out since this started. And what started happening is, this place I live in, they started an association, tenants association, which accomplishes virtually nothing. And at the end of the day, the new landlords are going to do what they're going to do. And if you want to live here, you're going to fucking deal with it. And that's all there is to it. But the only thing they really did get accomplished was they got a little more communication, okay? More white notices on the door, which, sorry to use the term, I'm slightly embarrassed. It used to give me anxiety. Every time I open the door now, I expect to see a new white notice. And it's not fun. It's not funny. And so they got more communication. They got a letter saying, oh, we're going to put new windows in, which they haven't. Oh, we're going to do this, which they haven't. What's the third thing? I talked about the first thing was important project getting canceled. The second thing was the building. Oh, the third one was just the state of California because of COVID. Well, let me wrap up this concept first about the complex. Now you can't pull a car in here, so I literally cannot move unless I want to park a car illegally at the end of the street, where there's not even anywhere to park a car, let alone a U-Haul truck, and walk it. Suppose it's probably an eighth of a mile per trip. Eighth of a mile per trip. Maybe that's exaggerating. I don't know. 16th of a mile, whatever it is. Many steps, extra flights of stairs, the whole shit. Which ain't gonna happen. I'm not gonna fucking move like that. Again, there's not even anywhere to park the car. So I'm kind of trapped here. And these fucking people, man. I tell you, I've never been, as a PWIM, privileged white male, sorry, that's what I am. I've never really been in a position where somebody was like truly subjugating me or forcing me to do something, putting me in a position that I had virtually zero power or agency to do anything about. And now that I've been in it, I have to say, man, I guess it's probably a good thing that murder is illegal. Let me just show their heads again. Let me show their faces. These people, man, I've seen them. If it wasn't illegal to kill, I would kill them. I've fantasized so many times about getting a gun and putting it to those people's heads and just shooting them point blank. And that might sound extreme to you. I mean, it even sounds extreme to me. It just seems disproportionate. Well, what'd they do? They just bought the building and they're investors, so they gotta make good on their investment by improving it and flipping it. And I've never been like, fuck landlords. Although I fully understand that sentiment now, more and more as time goes on. But it's just that you don't matter. You're if anything, I'm an inconvenience. It's not that I'm to be respected or that I matter or that my position or my very life should be respected, but that I'm an inconvenience and I don't matter. And so the kind of people that do that, which of course are very rich, if you're buying buildings, even if you're part of a group that's buying buildings in Los Angeles and flipping them and selling them, you have money. Plain and simple, right? So, and I'm not like, kill landlords, kill rich people, although I do have killyourlandlord.com, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. And I have a lot of other good ones. I have thingspiratessay.com. I have catsreactingtofarts.com. I have catreaction.com. I have catsreaction.com. I have catsreacting.com. I have millennialholocaust.com, which I know what I'm going to do with that. Got a lot of domains. Again, I got off by saying that I found it seems a little disproportionate to say just because they did this, they deserve to die. But you know what, man? If you're the kind of person who is just so cold and callous and unreasonable and disrespectful to people to where you think their convenience, their safety, their sanity. Sanity is a big one. I gotta say, the noise has not been so bad lately. That shit was driving me fucking nuts, man. It was like, I was talking about it in therapy. I was calling people and bitching. I was trying to leave the apartment. It was fucking maddening. It was driving me really insane. To the point now that where I'm really, bizarrely as a musician, more sensitive to noise than I've ever been after living in New York for 10 years. Somebody's fucking television blasting. I'm surprised. The fucking kids out back. That's another thing I fucking hate about this place. There's a backyard of this family and their fucking kids are so loud. So again, in conclusion with that stuff, man, it's a good thing that we're not allowed to just murder whoever we want without consequences, because I gotta imagine that me and many others would have murdered. I'm sure I'd be fucking dead. Somebody who doesn't like me or perceive that I wronged them would have murdered me. And so the third thing that happened is COVID. People are so fucking stupid here. Sorry, oh my eye. I tried to just do this and like pick my nose, but I fucking flicked my eye. I'm sorry with the COVID stuff, man. I haven't talked about it. I don't even have a platform. Nobody listens to me. It was just Chris Kubert, the Bat. There's like 3 people. They're gonna listen. Sorry if Kevin Walter. I know there's more people. Some people who will listen to this. Why? I'm not sure. Must find it entertaining. Maybe this is like a very personal video and you'll like it more. But I haven't said much on COVID other than some COVID jokes, but this shit is so fucking stupid out here. Cool it with the fucking masks, cool it with the paranoia, cool it with all of this shit, guys. Flu season happened, and sorry, you know what, the flu season, I gotta say, at first everybody with the flu, 80,000 with the flu virus, 80,000 with the flu virus, and then all of a sudden it was like, you can't say that anymore. Which I never understood exactly why, and now it's, somewhere around double a bad year of the flu virus. Still not that bad, and I know that's pretty easy to say when I'm not the one dying or somebody I know personally hasn't died. I know it's considered pretty self-centered, but I've been to the Midwest, I've been to Utah during COVID, and I just gotta say, they're fucking out of hand here. This shit is so fucking stupid. It's so annoying. And it's just, it kind of has shown me what kind of people live here. Sorry to put it like that. What kind of people are those? Man, the people on Nextdoor, right? The fucking Karens, the entitled's, the motherfuckers, the groupthink Gestapo comrade fucking want to make you do whatever they think is right. Which just doesn't fucking jive with me, man. I'm kind of used, there's a certain amount of stuff you have to do because it's the law, or it's, shown it's not questionable, it's like pretty valid. But beyond like taking care of yourself and watching out for everybody else, they're just too much here with the passing of the judgment. They're too much with the whole thing and the entitlement and the fucking wokeness. It's like, and I'm talking about COVID. I'm not talking about anything racial here. I'm not talking about BLM. I'm not talking about fucking George Floyd, because that's a whole other animal. Just COVID, man. I sound beat down, don't I? Should I be embarrassed that I'm beat down by Karens and entitled rich whites? And man, it just sucks. I know at least one other person I can think of off the top of my head. And I don't know a lot of people here, to be honest. But I know one other person who is definitely in the same space where it's like, you know what, man? Fuck the people here. People. So you had one major project canceled. You had this apartment complex bought. Rent's too fucking high. We didn't even talk about that. Just living in Los Angeles, man. Just the rent being $2,200 is a fucking non-starter if you're not making tons of money. Because everything else costs more. Food costs more. Gas costs more. Everything. Your utilities cost more. Your fucking vet bills. Don't even get me started. My little baby boy Chini had a blocked thing. Blocked penis. Blocked... fuck do they call it? Blocked urethra, a blocked Tom, a blocked cat, they call it. Happened to my sister in Michigan. I think it was $700, or someplace it costs $1,000. $2,400 here. $2,400. You're miserable here. So that's the truth. Now let's have fun. Yay!